All right, consider this your special intelligence briefing. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and going deep into the world of cyber warfare. We're going to profile some of the most sophisticated, most elusive threats that are out there. So, let's get started. You know, these are the exact questions that keep security professionals staring at the ceiling at night. And the answer isn't about just kicking down the front door with brute force. Nope. The answer lies in the digital world's version of special ops. These are tools built specifically for stealth, for persistence, and for sabotage. First up in our dossier is maybe the most dangerous operative of them all, mainly because its entire mission is to never, ever be found. Let me introduce you to the Rootkit, the absolute master of disguise. The name itself is a dead giveaway, really. It comes from root, which is the keys to the kingdom, the highest level of access you can get on a system, and kit, well, that's just the attacker's toolbox. So its job is pretty simple. Get total control, and then just become a ghost in the machine. So how in the world does it pull off this vanishing act? It's kind of brilliant and also terrifying. See, it doesn't just hide. It actually gets the operating system to lie on its behalf. When you ask your computer, hey, show me all the programs you're running, the rootkit steps in, intercepts that command, scrubs its own name off the list, and then hands that doctored list to you. You're literally staring right at the crime scene, but the main culprit is completely invisible. And that right there is the crucial takeaway. A rootkit isn't just a single piece of malware. Oh no, it's more like a secret, invisible base of operations. It can just sit there on a system, sometimes for years, quietly shielding other malicious programs and giving an attacker a permanent, undetectable foothold. Okay, let's move on to our next profile. If a rootkit is a ghost, then a backdoor, well, a backdoor is like that secret sliding panel behind a bookshelf you see in old movies. You can bolt the front door, add 10 new locks, but it doesn't matter because the attacker already has their own private way in. A backdoor does, well, exactly what you think it does. It creates a hidden entry point that completely sidesteps all the normal security stuff we rely on. Passwords, two-factor authentication, security questions, all of it. And that is precisely what makes it so dangerous. It's all about persistent access. You could be doing everything right. You change your password every single month, you got the best two-factor authentication set up, and you know what? None of it matters. The attacker doesn't need to pick the lock when they can just stroll right in through their private entrance anytime they want. Now, our third operative is a whole different breed. This one isn't focused on stealth or secret entrances. This one is all about patience. This is the logic bomb, an operative that is more than willing to play the long game. A logic bomb is, for all intents and purposes, a digital booby trap. It's a piece of code that just sits there, completely dormant, totally harmless, just waiting for a very specific trigger to go off. And you can see the difference right here. Most malware, it's loud. The second it gets onto your system, it wants to cause damage. A logic bomb, though, is silent. It waits. And that very patience is what makes it so incredibly hard to find until it's way too late. So what kind of triggers are we talking about here? Honestly, it could be almost anything. It could be a specific date, like Friday the 13th. It could be tied to an action, like a certain program being opened for the 100th time. Or in some of the most infamous real-world cases, the trigger is tied to a specific person. And this brings us to its most common and, frankly, most dangerous use. Insider sabotage. Picture this. A disgruntled employee who thinks they're about to be fired hides a logic bomb deep in the company's code. And the trigger? The system deleting their user account. The moment they get fired and HL removes them from the system, boom, the bomb detonates, maybe wiping critical servers long after that employee has already packed their desk and walked out the door. Okay, that brings us to our final operative in the briefing. So, if the rootkit hides and the logic bomb waits, the keylogger, it just watches. It is the digital shadow recording your every single move. Its function is brutally simple. It's a surveillance tool, and its only job is to capture every single thing you type into your keyboard. I mean, every single key. And the process is just devastatingly effective. First, it records your keystrokes. Then, it collects all the juicy stuff. Your bank password, your private messages, your embarrassing Google searches. And finally, it neatly packages all of that sensitive data up and sends it quietly back to the attacker. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. A keylogger makes all of our efforts at password security almost completely irrelevant. Your password could be 100 characters long with every symbol imaginable, but it just doesn't matter. The keylogger isn't trying to crack your password, it's just watching you type it in. Okay, we've profiled the threats, we've seen how they operate. Now we get to the most important part of this entire briefing. How do we actually build our defenses? How do we fight back? Well, there are a few key strategies. First, to fight a ghost like a rootkit, you can't just scan for bad files anymore. You have to look for suspicious behavior. That's what modern tools like EDR do. Second, apply something called the principle of least privilege. Sounds complex, but it just means don't use your super powerful admin account for everyday email and browsing. Third, physical security. Yeah, it still matters, because some keyloggers are tiny little hardware devices. And finally, to stop things like logic bombs and backdoors, companies have to be doing regular code reviews to find these hidden traps before they can be triggered. And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. We spend so much of our time and energy building stronger walls and more complex locks, right? Like those crazy long passwords. But as we've seen today, the most advanced threats, they're not designed to break the lock. They're designed to walk around it, to hide inside it, or to simply watch you open it for them. It really makes you wonder, in our digital world, what's actually better? The strongest lock or a more watchful eye?